I am Dr. Ray Dykes, and this is the Personal Faith Program. I welcome you to this first podcast in a series dealing with personal faith with a passion, how to know what you really believe. This is a series on clarifying your faith, and I hope that you will enjoy it. This is based on a book, Personal Faith with a Passion, How to Know What You Really Believe. This book has a workbook in it, and if you'd like to get this and follow along in this series, if you go to Paradox Press, that's P-A-I-R-O-D-O-C-S Press.com, you can order this book. It's only $10. Paradoxpress.com, Personal Faith with a Passion. The prologue and introduction to this program goes like this. No matter how hard you work on your mind to learn, no matter how hard you work on your body to look good, no matter how hard you work on your psyche to feel good, no matter how hard you work on your career to make money, if you don't work on your spiritual life, life at its best will always be beyond your grasp. But the more you bring your personal faith to conscious expression, the better you can know yourself and understand yourself. The better you can accept yourself and love yourself. The better you love yourself, the more likely you are to love another person unconditionally and to love God more as you understand God. Then you can live life at its best. Then you can truly experience personal faith with a passion. The better you know what you believe about God, the better you know who you are. You need self-understanding, a healthy self-concept, a positive identity, and your conscious faith is the key to all that. When your faith has integrity with the way you live your life, you have meaning and purpose in your life. With a carefully constructed personal faith, you can handle the crises of life and experience growth even in the midst of difficulties and chaos. In the process of building your faith, you learn the true profound meaning of freedom and responsibility. When you know you have the freedom to build and rebuild your own theology, you know you must give others the same freedom. When you build your faith, you know that it is your responsibility to work out your own salvation with a sense of awe in partnership with God, one day at a time. When you accept responsibility for what you believe, you become aware that spiritual craziness can lead to psychotic and antisocial behavior. When you experience the difficulty of building your own faith, you learn the real meaning of humility, and you can't be spiritually arrogant toward another pilgrim. At issue is your identity, your effectiveness as a human being, your ability to establish covenant relationships, your ability to cope with the best and worst of life, your knowing the meaning and purpose of your life, your freedom and responsibility, and your ability to walk humbly with your God and family and friends. In short, your spiritual life is at issue. There's nothing more important than your spiritual life. Building your own faith is the most important thing you will ever do. That makes this program worth doing and this task worth doing. Most people don't know what they believe about spiritual matters. Some know what they've been told to believe, some know what they're expected to believe. However, when you run into the spiritual wall of despair in the dark night of the soul, most don't know how to begin to construct a faith that includes meaning and purpose. When they need to describe their concept of God, or when they want to talk about their faith with others, including children, They don't know how to express what they believe. Here's a story that illustrates that. Joe's life was football. He was bred to be a quarterback, tall and sturdy, with great instincts and a quick ball release. Everybody in his Texas hometown was proud of him when he was named High School All-American after leading his team to win the state championship. Joe was active in his church and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He accepted the standard faith of his community without thinking about it. College football was good for Joe, except for the concussions he suffered while being sacked by defensive linemen. In the bowl game at the end of the season of his senior year, he sustained a serious neck injury and a major concussion when he was slammed to the artificial turf. The doctors told him he was through with football. Instead of a promising career in the NFL, he lost his life's purpose. After a decade of wallowing in self-pity and despair, Joe discovered one weekend at a workshop on personal faith with a passion that he could find a new passion in life by building his own faith. Using the same determination that had made him a top quarterback, he constructed a faith that he could claim as his own, a faith that has given him new meaning and purpose and zeal for life. Here is a program that teaches people how to bring their personal faith to conscious expression. This program supplies you with a technique to build your own faith never before made available. This technique is experientially based and has been taught by me to many people. This book may function for you, this program may function for you and future generations as a declaration of spiritual independence. There have always been religious tyrants in the land doing their best to suppress spiritual independence by telling people what they're supposed to believe. Religious tyranny need no longer be the order of the day. No longer do people need to go to priest, pastor, or minister to be told what to believe. No longer does theology have to be the exclusive purview of the professional religious elite. Theological freedom and spiritual independence have been made possible by the simple technique contained in this program. Personal faith with a passion makes possible the beginning of a new spiritual reformation. The Protestant Reformation of the 1500s gave Christian laity a license to read the Bible for themselves and a second license to pray to God directly. Before that, they had to go to their priests to find out what the Bible said, since it was written in Latin, which only the priest could read. Also, they presented their prayer requests to priests who interceded to God with God on their behalf. Now, here's a program that gives all people everywhere the third license of the Reformation, the license to discover what they really believe and express that faith with passion, commitment, and confidence. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, according to a verse in the New Testament letter to the Hebrews. Faith can be conscious and or unconscious and is never provable, never factual. Indeed, the opposite of faith is fact, not doubt. Doubt is an integral part of faith. Faith and doubt are two sides of the same coin, because whatever is not doubtable is not believable, is not faithable. Theology, then, is the conscious expression of faith, and part of the content of your theology is that which is unseen, for which you hope. The assurance is by way of saying that you can be sure of what you believe, and you can come to know that as your truth. Knowledge is available to you from faith. You can know what you believe and in what you believe because it is validated by your experience and your hope. Knowledge is also available to you from facts. What is seen and touched and smelled and heard and tasted, you can know that a book is a book. But there are two different ways, these are two different ways of knowing, not to be confused with each other. Faith and science are not at war with each other. They're simply based on two different kinds of knowledge, and they are complementary of one another. We must have them both. Throughout this program, I will be including personal stories in the attempt to model the process of faith building. These stories will not be presented as self-glorification or self-negation, but as illustrations of one person's struggle to arrive at personal faith with a passion. These stories are what I know. I hope you will be inspired to express your personal stories. See you next time.